In the last two video, we built task manager application using web API and Angular UI. But let me ask you something. Would you deploy this application on the production right now? Because anyone can access your data, anyone can delete your data. In this video, we will add login, JWT authentication, protect route using guard, and make this project production ready. If you want to become job ready, this is the episode that separates beginner from developer. So let's start. Let me share my screen. First we need to add user. Application without user make no sense. So let me add the user entity first. Let me right click, then add new item. Then user class has been added. Let's add the property. So let me add the property. First we have to add ID. Then it should be string, username, string, password hash. Okay. So now we have the user class. The user class, we have to add this user class as a DB set in our appdb context file. So let's add this in the appdb context. Let's do it. Okay. Do it. User. So now we have added that user class in our appdb context. So let's run the migration to create that table in our database. It will take some time to generate that migration, so let's wait. Okay, so now you can see we have the another migration file here. So let's update our database. So it's successfully executed. Now let's see if the table has been created in the database side. So we should see the user table. Let's refresh it. Okay, now see we have the user table as well. Now we have user table, but storing password directly in the user table, that is the fastest way to get. So now let's add the JWT authentication. For that we have to add the JWT authentication package. So let's do it. In the NuGet package you have to manage NuGet, ASP.NET JWT bearer, just install it. Now we have JWT authentication package. Let's add the JWT configuration in the app setting.json file. Now let's configure the JWT as a default authentication mechanism in the program. So let's do it here. Builder service dot add authentication. Let configure it. JWT bearer default dot authentication skill. Now let's do one thing, add JWT bearer, add JWT bearer option. We need to validate while validating the JWT token. So let's do one thing, let's install this as well. Okay, this is our option. This is Okay. So this value we are reading from apps.setting, and this is the option we need to validate while validating the JWT token. So that this in our middleware app.use authentication, app.use authorization. So let's do one thing. So let's add this in our middleware as well. Use authentication, and we have already the use author. Now our API will understand JWT token, but we have to generate that. That is still pending. So generation part is pending, but the now if you pass some JWT token, so our API can validate it. So that part has been completed. So let's do the okay. So we have created the auth controller. Here we will make the action method for generating the JWT token. So let's start this private read only high configuration config private read only app.db context. Let's generate the constructor. Let's inject it. High configuration config app.db context. Let's initialize it. Configuration config. Let's assign that value. Context that context. So now let's create the login endpoint. So let's HTTP post and it should be login. So this will be our this will be the login endpoint. It should be user login user where user is equal to this dot context dot user dot first dot default u dot username is equal to login user dot username. So first we are just checking the username. So if user is null, then simply we can return unauthorized. Okay. Now return your token. Let's pass it as an object. Okay. Now let's generate this method. So just right click, or you can just simply do it, generate method, make it a string, now let's create the object of the claim. So let's make it claim is equal to new claim. Let's create the object of the claim. Let's do it claim is equal to new, and so claim, this should be the array, new claim, claim type dot name, and then user dot username. Okay, now let's get the key, where key is equal to symmetric so this will be the key. Let's do one thing. Let's using encoding text. Okay, so this will be our key. Let's generate the credential, where cred is equal to so now let's generate your JWT token, because we have the key, credential, everything. So just and this will be our claims. Okay, so basically this token will be proof that user is authenticated, and if without this there will be no access of the application. Okay, so now we have login endpoint. Let's create one more for registering the user. So let's do it. So for registering user, let's simply copy it, register, let's create public iaction result register user. So if this is the case, if the username is already exist, then we have to return just simple bad request, because we should not allow the duplicate user object using this username. Register will work, but here if you see, we are just comparing the password. It will not work, because we will get the simple password. So we need the hash password from login user. So what we need, is equal to Now let's run and see we are able to get the JWT token and we are able to generate the JWT token and if we are able to verify it. So let's do it. Okay, so now you can see we have the two different controller here, auth and task. So let's first try to register user. Let's do it. So I will do it like username. Let's do Amit, password Amit @123. Let's try to register it. Okay, so now you can say that user has been created successfully. So let's do one thing. Let's try to generate the token. So let's do here. I click here. Now see we have the JWT token as well. So now we can secure our task manager API. Right now if you see we are able to fetch the get task, but what we will do, we will make sure that no user will be able to fetch the detail without authorization. So it must be send the JWT token before fetching the any detail. So for that we have to just use the let's make it authorize. So let's in the next video we will see how to make the task controller secure and how to use this token in the front end Angular application. So thanks for watching.